Reflections from the Saddle is all about reward-based training, and reward-based training falls into operant conditioning. It's positive reinforcement, and it's basically the adding of something positive when the horse is doing a behavior that you want. And so I use food rewards as one of the rewards. Now, when you really get to know your horse well, there's other motivations that you can use. Some of the top ones are safety, comfort, food, water, and then social mates. And that can just be a friend. But anyhow, I really wanted today to talk about food because a big issue that people have with using food as rewards is, one, they complain that they don't want to bribe their horse to do what they ask. And two, they don't think that food should be in the training process. And this is a nervous habit of his that needs to stop. So let's talk about bribery. Bribery is actually the promise that you will give them something if they do something. So a perfect example of bribery is standing in the horse trailer shaking a food bucket to a horse that doesn't want to load, right? It is not an effective way to train anything. And positive reinforcement, aka reward-based training, is not bribery. That's not how it's set up. And if you want to know more about that, you can read some of the stuff on my blog, Reflections from the Saddle. And then the other thing is that people think that if you use food rewards that you teach a horse to be nippy. And that's not true either. And there's a couple reasons. One, you use food rewards in response to a behavior that you want to see more of. So what teaches horses to be nippy is two things. One, indiscriminate giving of treats. So they start to think of you as a Pez dispenser or a carrot dispenser. And the second one is the inappropriate way that you give the treat. Or that you give the food reward. So this horse is a great example. He, as a 1-year-old, was at a barn that everybody thought was such a cute yearling Andalusian, and they were going to go up and give him carrots, and he started to think that everybody was just a treat dispenser for him. And he got he never bit anybody, but he got pretty he'd search your pockets and all that kind of stuff. And he also likes to use his mouth if he's a little bit nervous or unsure about what we're doing, and he's like, why are we standing in a field and you're talking to no one? So anyhow, I want to show you that there's a couple things that you want to not do when you give a food reward. And one of them is that you do not want the horse to come towards you for the food reward. And you want the horse to be able to see what you're doing. So one of the things, and I'm going to just back him out of my space here because I don't like the fact that he's nipping on the lead line, which has nothing to do with food. If you touch a horse under here and give them a food reward, they're going to start to think that every time you touch them under here, they're going to get food. So then you'll create a nippy horse. So if they don't really see what you're doing when you go to give it to them. The second thing is you never want to have the horse come to you like that to get the food reward, okay? Because that teaches them to come mug you for the food. So there is a proper way, and I usually and I just want him to kind of stay out of my space a little bit. Notice I'm not hitting him. If he even bites at me, I'm not going to hit him. I'm just going to send him out of my space a little bit and be like, you know what? If you want to be with me, you have to be polite about it. And it's kind of the same thing with the foods. So let me step a little bit closer. And so if he does something that I really like, I use a marker, and this time I'm just going to use a tongue click. I also have a clicker, but you can use a word. He knows the word good to mean that he's doing good. And I am going to insist that he have his head slightly tilted away from me to get the food reward. And he's not allowed to come get the food reward until I give him a release word. So the way that you train that is one, I'm going to sort of set him up for success there. And then I'm going to hold the reward out He's being really good. Sometimes we have to go through this game a little bit, and I close my hand. And I have to be prepared to sort of take my hand away if he's going to mug it, right? So the only way, he stepped into my space, so he has to stay over in his space. And this is how you train this. The food reward comes out. He's being really good about not mugging me, but this is still not the behavior that I want for him to get it. I'm going to close my hand, and I'm going to withdraw the food. So this is how you teach a horse how they receive the food reward. Good boy. Yes, get it? So that was perfect. He saw it there, he wanted it, he knew he just did something good, he just stepped out of my space like I wanted without me even really having to ask him. And then, but he waited to get the reward once I gave the command that he could get it. And for me, it's get it, that's the one. So that's the way he looks away. I'm gonna hold this out. I'm gonna wait for him to give a little bit better response. I want a little bit longer for him to go and look away. He's gonna do that, so I'm gonna withdraw. And this is just shaping and training the way that we get food rewards. So all this is not gonna get him it because this is not what I want, right? So now he's sort of demonstrating what doesn't get him. And if you do this, and don't get after them, you just wait them out, and they start to learn that what they really want is not, I just clucked to tell them that's what I wanted. I want them out of my space again. Get it? So it is not his responsibility to take the food from me, it's my responsibility to give it to him. And if any time he gets to where he's being disrespectful about taking it from me, he doesn't get it. And when you train this sort of interaction, a horse that usually is mugging you and all over you or biting at your hand or wanting the treat learns that if they want to get that, they have to earn it. And the way that they earn it is by this reaction that I want. I want them out of my space, I want their head over there. And I can shape that with the clicker, the marker about what I want. I can also shape it with the way that I'm asking, or the way that what I'm rewarding. I'm gonna back him up a little bit. Get it? So then he's allowed. I come to him and he's allowed to go for it. And so you should be able to just hold a carrot, anything out there. Excellent, good, get it. So that was really good. I mean, he really looked away, like I'm totally not begging, I'm totally not mugging you for it, I'm totally not in your space for it. That's the way to keep a horse using, not mugging you, you know, just using good training methods of how to use treats and rewards, food rewards in your training, and your horse not be a bad mugger or beggar or biter. All right, hope that helps. Thanks.